Oh my word, you guys. That was terrible. I was like, you were there and then you all were gone. I am so sorry. Yeah. It's going to be in timeout for a while. That's for sure. So hopefully y'all will make it back here. I was really enjoying our discussion. LOL. Like I was actually just talking to you. But yeah, hey, you're back. Hello. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Like I said, it was a bad deal. Hi Rebecca, thanks for coming back. Like I was talking and everything was great, and then like black. Like my iPad just died. So, but anyway, like what I was talking about before is the risks of not following through at that point become too high. You know, when if you're looking at your why, what you want to accomplish and what is you're hoping to gain out of it, and your why really needs to drive you. One of the reasons that I have set goals for my business, so one of the reasons I'm going to do the vision board, and we'll talk about the vision board in a second, is to remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing when the going gets rough. Because in anything that we do, whether it's a fitness goal, you're going to hit those days when it really sucks. Can I say that on camera? It does. It totally sucks. You hurt. You don't want to get up and do it. It has stopped becoming fun for you. And you need to, you know, be able to push through the discomfort and but sometimes what's going to make that happen is having a deep why. Hey, Ginger. Long time. Glad you could join us. It has to be deep enough. It has to move you. And once it does, you'll find the courage and you'll find the gumption to push through when it stinks. So like for me in my business, one of the reasons why, one of my whys that the reason why I'm pushing for these goals is because, oh my gosh, now my phone's telling me that I'm under 20%. Well, we'll finish quickly. Is because like I said before everything like disappeared, you know, my husband's physically got some issues because of his military service, and I know at some point I'm gonna have to carry the burdens, and the cost of not being successful in this way means that he carries a financial burden for my family for a lot longer period of time. It means that at some point I'm not going to be able to be available for my kids because I'm going to have to go into the workforce. And I don't know, that time for me is so important. That's something that I don't want to give up. So what am I willing to do now to change that in the future? For myself personally, I've always been a career-minded woman, but I've also been a homemaker. And I love being home with my kids, but at this point, like sometimes I feel like my little gray cells are being sucked out of my body. Like I don't have conversations with people over the age of 7? Sometimes for multiple days in a row. It can be challenging. And so for me, hi Haley! Thanks for joining us. For me, having something to move me, something to motivate me, something that gives me kind of my own little something is extremely important for me. And the costs of not following through on my goals are extremely pricey. And so if you want, when you're building a goal, so let's recap because I know we tagged out. First of all, know what it is you want. Like, think about it. Some people go into the new year and they have no idea what they want. Relationships, fitness, maybe a new business, a new career, going back to school. Like, we sometimes we don't. We just kind of coast through life. Hi, Whitney. Thanks for being here. Without ever really knowing what we want. So 1, know what you want. 2, know why you want what you want. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you working for this goal? What is it about the goal that makes it something that you really want to achieve? And you got to dig deep. Sometimes you really got to dig deep. What is it that you want and why do you want it? Oh, that was number 3. Number 2 is reframe your goal. Instead of thinking of it in terms of, I want to lose 50 pounds because I don't like what I look like with 50 pounds on her. I want to change my job because I really hate what I'm doing right now. Well, that's not really enough of a reason. What you're really going to need to do is change your focus. Hey, Tia, thanks for joining. No, like, why are you doing it? Well, instead of I want to lose 50 pounds because I don't like what I look like, no, I want to feel confident in my own skin, and I want to have the energy to run around with my kids and do whatever it is they want to do. I'd love to go snowboarding with my son. Right now, probably not going to happen. Mom heaves just walking up a flight of stairs, okay? I'm not gonna walk up a mountain. Sorry, no. So yeah, I want to be able to do those things. Why do I want to do my business? Because it gives me a sense of achievement. Because I'll be able to stay home with my kids and bring financial help into my family. And the cost of not doing those things, they're too high for me. So we're going to say, hey, I want to be able to contribute to my family. I want to be able to have something of mine that I was able to build. I want to be able to do something fresh. Like if I want to stop drinking soda, instead of being like, I don't want to drink soda because it's bad for my health, be like, no, I'm going to add more water. Right? I'm going to add more water to my day. I'm going to try 32 ounces of water, and guarantee you, if you're working towards 32 ounces of water in a day, you're going to be drinking less of coffee or soda or whatever it is that you're trying to get rid of. So just changing your mindset about your goal already sets you up for success, right? Because you're thinking positive. Like this is something you want to do, not something you don't want to do. See, even the body language, like I want to do this instead of like, oh, I just don't want to do that, right? So you change your perspectives. So how do you go about doing this? How do you make it a reality for yourself, right? Instead of being like, 2018, I want to do this, or I'm going to read this book all the way through, or I'm going to, we say stuff, but then we don't do stuff. Coffee is life exactly until it isn't. Like if I drink too much coffee, I start to feel not so well. But honestly, like what do I want to do? I don't want to depend on coffee for my energy. Because what about when I don't have coffee? And then I'm a lump on a log. Or I'm someone that my kids don't even want to be around. Okay? So like you have to find another driver for you. But Haley, I'm with you. I'm all about coffee. This girl didn't used to like it. Now I like it. Although I've got to say, I'm a fan of the cream that goes in the coffee, not necessarily the coffee itself. So that's what we're talking about, the vision board. So how do you make this happen? Well, you hear a lot about visualization and, kind of like what they call visualization, people think is kind of weird. But what it means is it means mentally making it alive for you. And this isn't just like a weird thing. There's actually a lot of interesting psychology that goes behind it. You know that saying, the body achieves what the mind believes. We were talking about how every decision usually somebody makes is emotionally seated. Whether or not in the moment it feels that way, that's how it works. Your friends, your spouses, what you shop for at the grocery store, whether or not you buy that CD, whether or not you go see that movie, right? There's usually an emotional base for it. And so what a visual board does for you is, well, it depends what you put on it. So basically it's any kind of board. It can be a cardboard, like thing you can stick stuff to. It can be a whiteboard that you put stuff on. You can do it digitally. You can draw little pictures in a journal, but it needs to be something big, something where you set it, and it needs to elicit emotional response, the stuff you put on it. So let's say a lot of people think, oh, it's just a board of all the stuff I want. It's like an adult Christmas list. Not necessarily. Okay, so, what's going to go on my board? A Maserati? Probably not. Lamborghini? Okay, but why? Why is that on there? What's the emotional response that having a picture of a beach vacation is going to do for me? What would be some things that would be on my board? Well, something that for me speaks about what the emotional results will be of when I get there. So maybe for me, one of the things that I can put on there is a picture of me being able to go to one of my son's functions at school. Surprisingly, that doesn't happen very often. Usually my husband gets to go because I have two littles at home. And so dragging them out and taking them to a school function usually isn't allowed. He's got to be a parent. You can't bring other siblings to him. And so me being able to be at his functions at school is hugely emotional for me. And so it would probably be a picture of that. Because for me, it speaks about the time that I'm able to have with my children while they're in school. Something else that would probably be on the board is a picture of a beach vacation or the Eiffel Tower. Why? Because I remember traveling with my husband and I loved that. Like that was something that we bonded over, was our love for travel and being able to go around the world and explore together. And I'd love to be able to do that with my children. That doesn't work out when, you have only so many days a year that you can take off. And right now that's where my husband's at. I would love to be able to retire him early so that we can work our business together. We can earn, an income together, but we also can actually go achieve dreams together, right? So the things that are going to go on this board or things that are going to elicit an emotional response from you. And they're going to be things about what you're going to achieve. So maybe for weight loss, you're going to put a picture of maybe an outfit on there that you just love it. Right now, you couldn't get away with wearing it if you tried. But oh my gosh, it just gives you happy, joy feelings, right? Maybe you put that on your board. Or maybe it's something you want to accomplish. Maybe you want to be able to run marathons. And right now, you're like, there's no way. There is no way, but you'd love to be able to feel like you achieved that and you accomplished that. And so you put that on your board. A vision board is something that should speak to you emotionally. And it needs to be somewhere where you can see it, So when you do it, you can cut out pictures, or you can find things from a magazine, or it can be words, things that personally speak to you, And so that is a good way to motivate yourself to achieve those goals. And so I haven't done mine yet because I'm taking this very seriously, and I've been thinking about it for several days. And as I was thinking about that, it started to occur to me that the people that I know and that I care about and who I interact with in business and as my friends, I think there's a lot of us who have a lot of things that we love to achieve. We love to go out and achieve some of these dreams. But it's like, how do you do it? How do all those, people that start from the ground up and build something magnificent, how do they get there? What did they do to be able to either motivate themselves, inspire themselves, or remember, what was it? And they're like us. They're regular people. So whatever they're doing, I want to do what they're doing to get where I want to go. Maybe my goal is different, but the methods are the same. And so I really want you to consider that for this next year. I don't want to go too much longer. I mean, that's a lot to chew on right now. And hopefully, as we go and I kind of figure out, I can answer later. It's kind of a mix. The goal was, Daenerys Targaryen, or whatever her name is, off Game of Thrones. It was gonna be that blonde, and it was originally. Hey, Catherine! But the toner kind of went crazy. Sorry, y'all. She asked me a question. The toner went kind of nuts, and my hair picked it up, so it kind of gets this pastel thing going, like lavender, pinkish blue. It's kind of cute. Actually, never would have gone for it on my own. It just kind of naturally happens when you color my hair. So anyway, so yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. But anyway, yeah. So back to what we were talking about, being able to so let's just recap really quick. And then as we do more, I'm probably going to be doing more trainings like this, just because I want to be able to share what I've learned in my journey. And I've been involved with network marketing as an industry for about 8 years. And so I've done a lot of training and a lot of figuring things out. And as we get more into that, you'll discover a little bit more about how I reached where I am now. But number one, again, know what you want. Think about it. Think about something that you really would like to see, to change the way you're viewing your goal. Don't think about it in a negative light. Turn your focus to be more positive. 3, know why you want it. Get down to the meat. Your why should make you cry. It should be something that the cost of not accomplishing is too high. The cost of not getting that change in career, the cost of not following through on this goal, the cost of letting that relationship go or keeping that relationship, the cost of not following through on your fitness goals. Whatever it is that you can dream up, you can achieve. And there's a lot about that, and maybe we'll go into that here in the future about the power of what you desire and the power of imagining that that's going to take place. Because really, there's a really great book that I think y'all enjoy. It's called Think and Grow Rich. And this is not a get-rich-quick thing, but basically what this fellow did is he had access to several multimillionaires type of people. This is from 1937, and this is probably backwards for you guys. Sorry about that. Like Henry Ford and other really famous guys that are now just no-brainers when you think about successful people. But he had the opportunity to talk to some of them and get to know them. And some of what they said in here was really crazy. And they're like, it all starts in your head. Not that we all want to grow rich. Rich is a very subjective term. Some people term rich as in having a lot of money. Some people think of it in terms of relationships or time or just the success and the fulfillment of one's life. Having a healthy body that can go do things. And for some people, that's their dream because they're not very healthy. You know, we tend to find that our dreams tend to be stuff that we could have, we could achieve, but we haven't got there yet. So make your why. Why make you cry? And the fourth is also to build a vision board. This is our step. This is our step one. What is it? And put things on your vision board that emotionally move you. And as we were talking about, desire is here. These are the things you want. And then here's the planning part. How do you get there, right? That's kind of over here. There's a goal, something that you want. And over here is like, you know, step 3, where you actually start thinking about and planning the things that you need to do to get where you need to go. Maybe we'll cover that next time. But here in the middle, this is the part where you visualize, where you think about what it is you want, why you want it. You do a lot of deep digging, deep work. And some people, that's not fun for them. They would rather not. They think of all the things of reasons why they can't do something. And I'm like, come on, you guys, let's go to the drawing board. Let's go back to the little kiddie table where we all got to cut stuff out and be like, I'm going to be an astronaut when I grow up. And we don't ever think about really how that's going to happen. But we were young enough to dream it up. We were young enough to try. We were young enough to believe that we could do anything. I mean, my son right now, my 7-year-old, has decided that he's going to be an astronaut. He got that from watching Martian with me. He promised me that whatever happened, he would never give up in space. I was like, thank you. Thank you for that reassurance. He's going to be an astronaut. Then he is going to be a chef, and he's going to build a restaurant out by our mailbox. And then he's going to be a famous football player because, I mean, that's something else he just wants to do. Lord help me, that boy is probably fast, but he's not ever going to be a heavy hitter. And then he's going to build video games. And then I asked him, okay, so which one are you going to do all this? And he's like, well, I'm going to do them all. And I'm like, really? He said, yeah, I'm going to do all these. And then I'm going to get married and have kids. And I was like, oh, son, wow, all of that before marriage. You have your life planned out for you. But I mean, he's at an age where he totally thinks that he can. And I think that that's really refreshing. And I'm like, Lord, when did I ever forget? When did I forget that I was capable of doing whatever I wanted to do? When did I get stuck in living paycheck to paycheck and thinking that that's all life is about? When did I forget to have fun? When did I forget to play? When did I forget to plan a life that I enjoy today? And I stopped thinking about someday I'm going to enjoy life. Someday I'm going to be able to go travel or do whatever. And, you know, yeah, there's seasons. People have seasons for their lives. But sometimes it's just a matter of goal setting. Here's a quick story for you before I close to kind of elucidate this point. About 7 years ago, 8 years ago now, right before my son was born, my husband and I wanted to go to an East Coast trip. We wanted to drive to the East Coast. He was in the Marine Corps. He's a Marine, and he still has a lot of buddies that lived over there. Well, they lived over there. Some of them moved since, but at the time, they all lived over there, and he wanted to go visit them. We're dirt poor, like literally. He worked at Pizza Hut, people. Like, we had no money, and I wasn't pregnant at the time. I kind of got pregnant kind of before we left, which I didn't know about. But anyway, long story short, we wanted to go on this trip. We had no money. We had nothing, like, nobody to, like, figure this out for us. But what we decided is that we were going to do this. We were going to do this. So what did we need to do? And so we had this, like, this image in our head. We talked about it, what we're going to do when we're there, how we're going to go. We looked at line. We're like, okay, we're going to go up through here, and we're going to go, I mean, if we're going to go all the way over there, we are going to go see Mount Rushmore, and we're going to go to Gettysburg. And we had all this thing pictured in our head, and we were so excited about it that we started saving. And whenever he would go to work, he would save all of his tips, and he would put them away. And for months, I would say almost a year, he did that. And whenever we had an electric couch, we'd put it away. And could we have used it on other things? Yeah, probably we could have. Of course, we didn't have kids at the time, so there wasn't the diaper bill. But we could have. But we didn't. We were so focused on being able to do this thing that we took our little chump change and we put it away. And let me tell you, by the time that next summer rolled around, we had a substantial chunk of cash set aside specifically for the goal of doing this East Coast trip. And we did it. We got my little car that got amazing mileage, and he had the time off work because we had like no job, hardly any bills. Like we had nothing really. And we went on this trip, and it was amazing. And you know what we did? We did everything on that list that we had dreamed about doing. Hey Shaylin, thanks for joining me. We did everything on that list that we had dreamed of doing, that we thought about doing. Oh my gosh, you guys, I had like when OneNote first came out, I had pictures of Mount Rushmore on there, and I had little maps, and I had little, like, I think that was my free time. We just spent time thinking about what we were going to do on this trip. And we did it. It was like, for me, that was my one visual, like, hey, this actually does work. I did this in the past without really knowing what I was doing, and my vision board happened to be on my computer, but we did it, and it was so rewarding. It's still one of my most favorite trips. We did end up going to Europe with some of his aunts and uncles after we were married, and we did that, but it was a little bit of a different scenario. It was kind of like last minute, like, hey, you want to come with us? We'll cover your bills and we can talk about it later. But this was that one thing, and we had nothing. And so you don't have to have a lot of resources or a lot of income to make the small steps necessary to reach your goal, right? It requires something that you're dreaming about, something you're passionate about, the ability to visualize what you're going to do and how you're going to get there, and what's the emotional response from that. And it was, I mean, I went to Washington, D.C. I got to see Washington, D.C. It was like the only time I've ever been there. And granted, I happened to be pregnant on that trip, and I didn't know it, so I felt miserable, but it was still fantastic. It was a fantastic trip. So it does work. And so what it just requires is, so first knowing what you want to do and reframing it like we said. Second of all, why do you want to do it? And what's that emotional response going to be when you finally get there? What's the cost going to be if you don't? Now, don't think about, you have to make the cost of not working towards your goal more costly than the misery that's sometimes involved in reaching your goal. Because, I mean, athletes do it. Like, what athlete ever got to the Olympics without some sheer misery somewhere in there, right? Hi, Tara. Hi, Jim. Thanks for joining me. You know, it's something that you have to be willing to endure some of the hard things to get to the good things. Like, you know, I know some of y'all work out, and y'all know that in order to get where you want physically, sometimes that requires some muscling. Sometimes that means pushing through when you're like, oh, I would like to stop right now. And so that's kind of what a vision board will help you do. And so when I'm finished with this week, and I've had a chance to brainstorm some of the things that I want to put on there, I'm going to put it up in my office, and I'm going to look at it every day, and I'm going to remember my reasons for why I'm going to push through when I'm not having much success in something, or when my introvertedness gets in the way of me having a conversation with somebody because I'm shy, or when I'm just like, oh my Lord, I would rather be sleeping right now than get up and write some content for my blog, right? There's things that I have to remember. Why am I doing this? What is my deep driving motivation? And it needs to be something positive, and it needs to be something that I can look forward to, and be able to be rewarded by. So here's the thing. When I get to 2019 and I look back on this year, I may be able to say, you know, I didn't get quite there, but I got this, and I saw this happen, and I got here. And so maybe my goal from this year falls into next year, right? But it's still something that I got to see all the things that happened this year. I got to see all the wonderful things that accomplished this year. Relationships and business and fitness and health, and a lot of those things have been able to build because I had a goal, and I had a way to visualize it, and I had a plan. And so, you know, I've been looking at a lot of these New Year's like, oh my gosh, I barely survived 2017. Lord Almighty, I hope 2018 is better. And then some people are like, yeah, this is awesome. When have you ever been an introverted sister? Contrary to popular belief, being introverted is not the same thing as being shy. It has to do with where one feels rejuvenated and refreshed. And people sometimes, they wear me out. And it's a challenge for me to get out there. Remember, Josh, you're the one who introduced me to everybody when we first moved back to Polson. Yeah. So, sorry, little insert there. But yeah, no matter what your personality type, introverted, extroverted, whichever the case may be, you can accomplish whatever it is that you want to go for. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to try to be getting on and doing lives more often, just because I love to connect with people, like, sort of together. Like, y'all can talk to me, even though I can't technically see you. But there's just so many amazing things that I've learned that I would love to share. And I would love to hear your guys' stories at the end of the year saying, hey, this was something that I started in January and I brainstormed it, and look what happened. Look at all the great things that happened this year. Because, you know, no matter what happens in the year, sometimes it's not so great. You know, we had a grandfather die one year, but I still can see some of the amazing things that happened this year. We moved from Washington to here. We had a baby girl. Brian getting his job was like a godsend. We were able to make some new friends here, which we were a little bit freaked out about because we'd been gone for a while. You know, there were great things that happened that year, even last year or the year before when I left a company. For from very specific reasons, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with myself. I mean, me getting involved with doTERRA kind of came out of left field. I was definitely not looking for another network marketing job. Not that I don't think network marketing works, but I was a little burnt out on it, and I have little babies, and so it really had to be something incredible to kind of move me back into that industry. But I've also learned that life is what you make it, and you know, I'm trying to set more realistic goals for myself because there are some things that I'm not willing to sacrifice, and time with my kids is one of those things. And so, you know, maybe I don't get in the 40 hours a week that I would love to be able to commit to this endeavor right now. But, you know, that's not what it's about for me. It's being able to connect with people and still enjoy my life while I'm living it right now. And that's really important, you guys. You know, obviously my industry right now is health and wellness, and that's something I've always been passionate about. Like, I considered several times getting into fitness. Never really was a thing for me because I'm asthmatic. So it's a challenge in that regard. But wellness, I've discovered, is so much more than just being ripped. It's about your sense of peace. It's about a sense of mental clarity and an idea of knowing where you're going and how you're going to get there. Being able to enjoy the small things in life, you know, the things that you don't realize how wonderful they are until either they're missing or you see someone else dealing with these issues that you don't have. And then you learn to be grateful. So thanks all for tuning in. And hopefully you'll come up with some other great trainings. I mean, I don't even have to come up with it. There's a lot of information out there, but I'd love to be able to just share and encourage and see where you guys are on your journey. And I really encourage you to read this book. I'm thinking of writing a curriculum to teach this to some of my teammates and my downline. It is a fantastic book. There's just so much great information there. So thank y'all for hanging out. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Literally, it was fantastic. Everybody was there, and then it was gone. It was like black. And it took me forever to find my phone. It's been one of those evenings. But thank y'all for hanging out, and I'll stop blabbing at you. I mean, I kind of wish that y'all could blab back at me because then we could like have conversation until late, but I'll let y'all go. So thank you so much, and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this lighting is crazy. Okay, hello. Mail me your book. What book? What book do I need to mail you? Hey, Brittany. I'm about to like go off, so y'all, if you want to watch the replay, please do. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people showed up. You want me to write a book? No, Haley, no. You can come visit me on my lives, and you can make fun of me through the comments and make me laugh and stuff. That's fun. And then the one you're talking about. Oh, this book? Think and Grow Rich? This is not my book, hon. This was written by Napoleon Hill. It's a fantastic book, by the way. Really, really good. I'm telling you. Yes, this is a good one. There's a bunch of good ones, actually, that I'll share. And I'm such a nerd anyway. I love books. And I'm almost my own personal librarian. Like, I don't know if you can see my massive books in the back there. Like, I have a ton of books on that shelf. That thing is like 3 rows deep. Brian made that bookshelf for me when we were first, hey Megan, thanks for joining. And so there's lots of books on there. I have tons of other ones, but I've just, over the years of being in this industry and doing a lot of personal development and training, there's a lot of stuff I've learned. But what I'm talking about, well, comes from a lot of my life experience, but he does cover it a little bit in here, under the chapter called Imagination. And he even himself says, you know, imagination is kind of that middle area between what you want and then the goals that you're going to set to get there. So thanks for hanging out, guys. You guys have a great evening, and I will see you next time.